wasn't that long ago that I just posted my life update vlog. Hi guys, I am back. As you can see, I am happy and healthy and I am ready to do this. Do what? Well, is my outfit not a hint? Like the red shirt, the red ring, sparkle, sparkle, and my Scarlet Witch prop necklace. You guys, I'm here to talk to you about WandaVision! Okay, full disclosure, I debated about doing a recap series for WandaVision. I had so much fun doing the Mandalorian one. Granted, I don't think too many people watched that, but it was so much fun to talk about. And if I'm doing it for Star Wars, then I should probably do it for Marvel. The only reason I hesitated is I have so much background information about Star Wars because I have always been into Star Wars. I love Legends. I've read all those Legends books. I've read so much background information, guidebooks, what have you. Like, I have that bookcase back there that is Star Wars stuff. And I don't have all that information when it comes to Marvel, to the comics, because I've never, oddly enough, I love the MCU. I love Marvel characters. I love the Marvel shows. I have never really been a comic fan. And I am just now getting into comics, so that is why I was hesitant. But you know what? Let's do it. Let's go for it. It will be fun. I can fudge my way through it as best I can. So let's talk about WandaVision. And the funny thing is the title. What makes me laugh about the title is that some people didn't realize that WandaVision was a play on television. So it's really funny. It's great. So first 2 episodes. They aired both episodes Friday. Not both episodes. The first 2 episodes both came out last Friday. I felt so happy that I was able to see them Friday because I am going back to school and I was kind of nervous that I wasn't actually going to see the first 2 the day they aired. But I did. And also, full disclosure, I was really, really nervous for these first 2 episodes, frankly, how I was going to react to them. Now, since they announced WandaVision, there has never been a doubt in my mind that I was going to watch WandaVision and I was going to love WandaVision. The reason is Wanda and Vision are 2 of my favorite characters from the MCU, and their relationship is actually one of my favorites. I actually think it is my favorite relationship out of the MCU, and unfortunately we didn't see a lot of that in the movies, so hearing about WandaVision got me really, really, really excited to see more of their relationship because, like I said, they are my favorite couple. So I was really, really excited for this show to see more of them being romantic and loving and just being the cutest couple in the world. But I was worried when they talked about doing it through, and I was also, the TV thing through different decades, I was really kind of, well, that's going to be interesting. But at the same time, I was kind of nervous about it because of the fact that, just like with comics, I have never been like a sitcom person. I have watched sitcoms. I think I watched Drew Carey when I was younger. Keeping Up Appearances, Are You Being Served? But I don't think you can consider those 2 sitcoms. But normal sitcoms, like, I have never seen Modern Family. I watched a few episodes of The Brady Bunch, I Love Lucy. I've seen some of the older sitcoms, but I've never really been a sitcom fan. I don't know why. They've just never really interested me. I will say my favorite is probably I did like I Love Lucy, though I found I Love Lucy to be incredibly corny whenever I watched it, but it was a good show and it was a classic, so of course I like I Love Lucy. And I've only seen like a couple episodes of Bewitched, so that is my mind frame for going into these. So I was nervous hearing how much time and effort they put into the first episode, which is 50s, and the second episode, which is 60s, into making those 2 episodes feel like episodes that would have aired on TV during the 50s and 60s. So, like I said, I found some, like I Love Lucy and like that stuff to be really corny when I was younger, so I was really nervous about how I was going to respond to them. And the first time I watched it, I did cringe a little because I'm like, oh my god, this is so corny. But I did enjoy them. I did enjoy them the second time around after I watched some reactors react to them. And I said, you know what, I'm going to go back and give these a second chance and just try not to focus on the fact that they are doing a corny sitcom from the 50s and 60s. And when I was able to focus on the show itself, on Wanda, on Vision, on what is happening, I did enjoy it as much as I thought I would. I did love it, and in the end, I did enjoy the 50s and 60s corniness. It was awesome. I keep saying a lot today. So, for those of you who might be a little bit confused who have not read the comics, they did say reading the comics helps. I don't think it's a requirement to have read the comics to understand what's going on, because the MCU is not based entirely 100% off the comics. They take stuff from the comics, but they're not like 100%, this is the storyline, and we ripped it directly from the comics. That's not going to happen. It will be inspired by the comics, and the storyline that inspired them that came for WandaVision that is from the comics is actually Wanda and Vision get married and have a set of twin boys. Like, I actually did research because I told another reactor that it was based off a storyline where Wanda has some sort of mental break and she creates this reality. And I went, let me double check that. No, actually, it really did happen. Wanda and Vision did get married, and they did have a pair of twin boys who also go on to later in the comics become Avengers themselves, just like their mom and dad. So they in the comics they do get married and they have twin boys, and in the comics it does take a while. But I do think in the comics they do find a happily ever after. So cross my fingers for them in this, and my legs being tired. So that's where this storyline comes from. And then, like I said, this inspiration is drawn from different decades. So last Friday we had 50s and 60s. This week it's going to be 70s. So Brady Bunch. I'm sorry, that's the only thing I can think of when I think of a 70s sitcom is the Brady Bunch. And that was like one of my parents' favorite shows to watch. And I was like, ew. But 70s is this week, and it's really fun, especially for me because I'm getting new ideas for outfits. But the first two episodes were also like in black and white. They had that old time feel. Like even the makeup, I think, was 100% how they did it in like the 50s and 60s. It was so cool. You know, it was actually, once I got over it, I'm like, wow, that's actually really cool looking and shooting like the set. People are complaining about the special effects, but the special effects were right how they would do special effects in the 50s and the 60s, which made it, I think, even that much more better. Because it was, I don't know why, I think I've gotten so used to seeing all the high-tech special effects that it was kind of cool seeing how some of the older practical effects were done with like the strings and stuff, and it was kind of nice to take a step back and see how practical effects used to be done for shows. Also, if you watch the behind-the-scenes features on YouTube, you will note that yes, they did this in front of a live studio audience for the first two episodes, even dressed up to fit the theme of the episode. So that was really fun. So, basically, let's recap these episodes because I know I am rambling. So, episode 1, we find Vision and Wanda in the idyllic suburb of Westview, circa 1950, whatever. Basically, they have come to Westview to live out the idyllic suburban lifestyle as explained in the plot summary for the series. Vision has a job at some sort of computational place, and Wanda is, of course, the stereotypical housewife. Okay, not so stereotypical considering she has powers and Vision is a robot person with, as Wanda terms it, an indestructible head, which only made my heart break when I kept hearing that line in the show. It's like, break my heart. Wanda and Vision are trying Wanda more so than Vision is trying to fit into their new neighborhood, into their new life. The first episode centers around Wanda and Vision doing a classic miscommunication of the 1950s. The boss is coming for dinner, but neither of them know that. So what happens is there's a heart on their calendar, which they can't remember what that heart stands for, and they simply decide that means that there's a romantic evening in store for them, some sort of anniversary. Only for Vision to go to work and remember that his boss, Mr. Hart, is coming over with his wife for dinner. This leads to him calling Wanda, who has been joined by the noisy neighbor Agnes with a crackerjack article about how to keep your man so you don't lose your man, where she thinks Vision is talking about their romantic evening, and Vision thinks Wanda has figured out that the Harts are coming for dinner. That's, of course, not what happens as Vision arrives and Wanda in a stunning dress that has a Vision's jaw dropping to the floor and he can't seem to focus on anything but the dress. I'm sorry, that part made me laugh, I think, a lot when he was just like, that dress, over and over. He said it like 3 times and I'm like, wow. Vision went on short circuit and she didn't have to do anything except wear a dress. Vision is able to brush off Wanda's faux pas by saying she is Sokovian, hence European, and they immediately rush to put together a dinner. Thank goodness Agnes always has a 4-course gourmet meal on prep. However, Wanda turns the chicken into eggs, the lobsters fly out the window, and when she gives Vision the meat tenderizer to tenderize the meat, he pulverizes the meat. This episode was interesting because I learned that Paul Bettany apparently plays the ukulele. I did not know that. Now I do. Makes it very interesting. Wanda, using her powers, is able to put together breakfast for dinner. This leads to another European comment from Mrs. Hart, but the foursome settle down for a nice dinner until Mrs. Hart and Mr. Hart start to interrogate Wanda and Vision about how long they've been married, where they're from, why they've come to rescue, why don't they have kids. You know, typical older neighbor questions. This is where this episode starts to veer into the slightly creepy factor. Wanda and Vision apparently don't have answers for the most basic of questions. They don't remember their anniversary. They don't have rings, even though they're claiming to be married. They don't remember where they got married, when they got married, where they came from, why they came from rescue. They don't really have an answer to any of this. Mr. Hart is banging on the table and demanding his answers when he starts to choke on something, and this is where it got Twilight Zone creepy. He begins to choke, and his wife just keeps saying, "Arthur, stop it, stop it, stop it, stop it," as he falls out of the chair and continues to choke to death on the floor. Wanda and Vision just keep glancing back and forth at each other as Mrs. Hart just keeps saying, "Stop it." This got really creepy for me as she starts saying "stop it" with laughing, "stop it, stop it." But then as she continues, she starts getting more and more desperate. At one point, you even hear what sounds like tears in her voice. And as she looks to Wanda, her face has changed from being laughing and happy and joking to looking almost terrified and desperate for something to be done. Finally, Wanda says Vision save him, and he's able to phase his hand into a guy's body, makes me wonder how gross that is, and pull out the obstruction in his throat. Cue back to the creepy as Mr. Hart is helped to his feet. He looks at his watch and proclaims that he and Mrs. Hart have to leave, and the pair say goodbye, gush over the great dinner. Vision gets the promotion, neither one acknowledging that Mr. Hart nearly choked to death. But we do find out what happened to the lobsters as they leave. One became the new door knocker. Even Vision and Wanda, after the Harts leave, do not make any mention of the event that just happened, Mr. Hart nearly choking to death at their dinner. Instead, they sit down on the couch and point out how they don't have an anniversary, a song, or rings. They decide their anniversary will be that night, surviving the first dinner party. Their song will be Yakety Yak. And if you've never heard Yakety Yak, I've heard it many times. Be aware that Yakety Yak is one of those songs that will just get stuck in your head forever and ever and ever. And even when it gets out of your head, you just have to hear Yakety Yak, don't come back, and it will get stuck in your head again. Shoot. So their song is Yakety Yak, and for rings, Rhonda conjures them some rings. And if you like the rings, you can actually pre-order them right now on Entertainment Earth. That leads us into episode 2. We leave the 50s and we head into the 60s. I honestly don't know anything. Let's talk about episode 1 a little bit more. The end of episode 1, we pull back from a TV screen and find someone has been watching Wanda and Vision writing in a notebook. I actually think it might be Darcy. There's a logo that appears. That logo is for SWORD, a sister organization of SEALD. That makes it very interesting. So, now we move on. Also, I keep forgetting to mention this, halfway through the episode, they are a commercial for a toaster by Stark Industries. Both times what got me is the toaster's just going like a tick, 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 beep, beep sound very steadily, even as it increases in pace, and there's a red light flashing. It's like very weird and totally, I don't know what's going on. There's like a clue in there somewhere. So, just be aware. There will be little clues. Episode 2, we start out with Wanda and Vision in the separate beds, as is tradition. Wanda keeps hearing some strange booming noises, so she keeps turning on the light, which in turn wakes up Vision, which I have a question. Since Vision can't eat, does that mean he doesn't sleep either? I'm really confused. Just a random question. Vision gets out of bed saying there's something wrong, then boom! Vision jumps back into bed, pulls the covers up to his chin, and I'm like, wow. This series I will purely love just for what it's doing to Vision and turning him into like a corny guy. It's absolutely hysterical. The booms continue, and finally Wanda freaks out, uses magic to put the beds together, and after cowering in their beds, Wanda pulls back the curtains to reveal a tree branch. They decide that is the source of all the booms they've been hearing. Wanda and Vision get the lights and go under the covers for stuff that is not PG-13 rated. And we start the episode where Wanda and Vision are getting ready to do a magic act for a show and rescue that benefits the elementary school. While Wanda waltzes off to go meet with other housewives, including Agnes and Dottie, and a new character named Geraldine, Vision goes off to meet the men of the Neighborhood Watch, only to find out the Neighborhood Watch isn't so much a watch as it is a gossip group for the men, and he impresses the men so much that they give him a stick of gum. And Vision decides to try the gum, and Vision swallows the gum, and we get drunk Vision. That's what I'm calling him. When Vision gets gum stuck in his gears, he goes drunky. Wanda, meanwhile, has been doing the best she can to fit into these women, and it gets kind of creepy as they're talking about the talent show. At one point, she says, it's for the children, and everyone there repeats, for the children. I'm going, whoa. As someone pointed out, that's weird because we haven't seen any kids yet in WandaVision, so where are all the kids? After the meeting, she's talking with Dottie, trying to make a good impression, when Dottie starts to quiz Wanda, saying she doesn't know what's going on, but she doesn't trust Wanda or Vision. During this time, a radio has been playing. The radio switches from one song to the song that I know, because I listened to oldies so much as a kid, called Help Me, Wanda. In the middle of this, a man's voice starts breaking through, saying, Wanda, can you hear me? Wanda, do you need help? Wanda, who's doing this to you? Dottie, meanwhile, has suddenly gone all confused and gone, who are you? Where am I? What's going on? Like she doesn't know. The radio explodes, the glass breaks, and suddenly everything is back to normal, even though Wanda is left totally confused at this point. Earlier in the episode, she had found a bright red helicopter with a sword logo on it. Totally forgot to mention that. So she was already on edge from that. Now this. Something weird's going on. Wanda heads to the talent show to be met by drunk Vision. And yeah, drunk Vision. That is something hysterical funny that I never thought I would say or see, but it is really, really funny. Vision is hysterical, calling the people, you will be amazed, you will be dumbstruck because your minds cannot comprehend. And Wanda's like, we say that in our heads, we don't say that out loud. It just made me laugh. Vision stumbles his way through what was supposed to be an amazing magic act, which Wanda turns into a comedy act by using her abilities to show how the magic was done, revealing that when Vision was levitating, he was using rope. The piano that Vision lifted up was actually a cardboard cutout, and when Vision phased his hat through himself, he used mirrors. The only trick he kind of got right was the card trick, and that took him a lot of times to do. It was the most hysterical version of pick a card! Is this your card? The last trick was the Cabinet of Mysteries, where Wanda was supposed to get an advantage, only she didn't, so she used her powers to make Geraldine appear. Afterwards, Wanda, who had been totally mean to tell Vision what had happened and the weirdness of it, actually doesn't mention it to Vision at all, instead focusing on what happened to make him go weird, discovering the gum, removing it from his stomach, removing drunk Vision. The pair try to creep away, but they're actually applauded by Dottie and the rest of the community, given a reward, and at the end, everybody goes, for the children! And I'm still going, there are no children! Vision and Wanda return home to celebrate their victory and the fact they did an amazing job. Wanda gets up to get some popcorn and reveals a baby bump, which hadn't been there earlier. The pair are awestruck and excited when they hear another boom. Vision and Wanda go outside, only to see a man in a weird beekeeping outfit with the sword logo on the back emerging from the sewer surrounded by bugs. Wanda freaks out, says the word no, and suddenly we rewound back to the moment Vision and Wanda discover she is pregnant. The pair embrace, and as they stare lovingly into each other's eyes, their black and white surroundings turn into color. It's important to note that before the ending of episode 2, The only times there were color was the red light on the Stark Industries toaster, the red helicopter, and Dottie's blood. This is the first time it's been in full color. And that's where we leave off. Interesting to note is also during episode 2, they did another commercial, this time for a Strucker watch. For those of you who aren't in the know, Van Strucker was a member of Hydra, and he featured more prominently, I believe, in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. than in the movies. So that makes it really interesting that they mentioned Strucker in here, because WandaVision is considered MCU. So that makes me think they are considering Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. part of the MCU, even though it wasn't an officially part of the MCU while it was airing. I think the last season they did move it back to the Marvel Studios. It was actually operating under a separate production company that they had set aside for the TV shows. But they recently did away with that, and now everything cinematic, like the movies and the TV shows, is going to come out of Marvel Studios. So I think that move actually put Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. back into the MCU. I'm not 100% sure. But I think going forward, we will see a lot of references to Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., just like we saw in the final season, because of Endgame. So that was an interesting episode. I know I rambled a bit, so hopefully I didn't get you all confused. My thoughts on this episode. Talking with other people, seeing other reactors, I have come to the conclusion that what is going on in Restview, what's happening, Wanda did create. Wanda did cause this. We do see her control, particularly at the end of episode 2, where she's able to rewind time so that she and Vision don't go outside to see the guy in the sword outfit. Do I think Wanda is controlling this? Yes. Do I think she's doing it by her own free will, by her own choice? No. I do not think Wanda is the mastermind behind this. While I do think it is her powers and abilities that is creating this weird world, I do not think she is the one pulling the strings. I think somebody is taking advantage of what has happened to her in Infinity War, in Endgame, all that she has lost, to manipulate her. One character that has come up a lot is this character called Mistopheles. I can't say his name. He's basically the devil, and he appears in the Marvel comics. So he's been mentioned a lot as being the one who is manipulating Wanda into creating this environment to use her for some reason. And honestly, I think that's what's happening. I think there is a villain that we do not know who he is. I don't think we will know for a while. And I think that villain is using Wanda's past, what has happened to her, the sadness, the hurt, her grief, to have her create this world. For what purpose? I can't tell you. Who it is? I can't tell you. All I know is that is what I believe, that while Wanda has created this world, she did not do it of her own free will. Somebody is manipulating her. Somebody is using her. The evidence for that is the main evidence I have right now for that is the fact that Wanda doesn't really know. Like, if Wanda was 100% in control, if she had done this on purpose, I feel like she would know what to do, what's going on, what's happening. But Wanda doesn't have a clue. Wanda doesn't know how she got to Westview. Wanda doesn't know what has happened. She doesn't know anything about her life before Westview, before coming to this town. So that's one reason. Another reason is the fact that we hear the agent from Ant-Man and the Wasp, I can't remember his name, saying, Wanda, who's doing this to you? Wanda, do you need help? Basically, they are trying to get to Wanda to save her. So if they are trying to help Wanda, if Wanda was doing this, wouldn't they be saying something else? Wouldn't they be trying to talk her down? Instead, they're asking who's doing this to you, and Wanda doesn't have a clue what's happening. That points to me that Wanda, while she may have created this environment, she's not really in control of it, and it's somebody else who's pushing the strings, who's pushing the buttons. Which would be easy to understand at this point, because we saw what Mysterio could do, and Mysterio had no powers, just a bunch of drones and computer tech. And look at what Mysterio was able to do to Peter Parker and the world in Spider-Man Far From Home. Now we have the chance that this might be a devil. What could he do? What power? What could he do in the end? I'm going to do more research about him. So, that is my viewpoint. Do I think this will be a show that it will be easily understood that at the end of each episode we will walk away with knowing more and more? Heck to the no. I told this to somebody and I stand by it. With WandaVision, I do not believe that we will fully understand what is going on till almost the end of the show or the end of the show. I think each episode we will get a little clue, a little nugget. It may not be easy to find. We may not even recognize it until later. I think each time we'll be given a little bit of a clue. But I do not think we will fully understand, fully know exactly what is happening to WandaVision till the end of the series and maybe halfway through the series at the earliest. I do not think we will know right away. And honestly, I think that's the best part about this series is we do not know what's going on. We do not know what is happening. And I think that for me, that's what is making WandaVision so much fun. I don't know what's going to happen next episode. The Mandalorian was awesome. It's my favorite series. But I never left that series going, oh, hey, I wonder what's going to happen next episode. You always had a general idea what was going to happen. Usually that's how it works with shows. You usually have a general idea of what's going to happen in the next episode, even if it's not related to what happened in the prior one. With WandaVision, the only thing I know is that the next episode is set in the 1970s. That's it. And she's pregnant. I don't know anything else. I don't have a clue what's happening. I don't have a clue where the story is going. And quite frankly, for somebody like me, that is probably the most awesome thing about this series, is I do not know. I honestly don't have a clue. And I think that is what is going to push WandaVision to be very successful, is that you don't know. And that, I think, is going to have so many people coming back week after week after week because they don't know what's going to happen. I don't think that with Falcon and Winter Soldier, we already know what that's going to be. Kevin Feige said it himself. It's going to be a Marvel movie told over 6 episodes. Loki, they already told us. It's going to be a detective story. WandaVision, we don't know. We were just told the episodes take place in different decades and pay homage to classic sitcoms. That's it. We don't know anything else, and it drives me bonkers, but I am loving it so much. So I cannot wait to see more of WandaVision. So you guys, tell me down in the comments below if you watched the first 2 episodes of WandaVision, what you thought of the show, what you think is going on, if Wanda is fully in control or not, who do you think the bad guy is, and any theories about what we might see on WandaVision. Remember, WandaVision is going to be connected to Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness and also the new Spider-Man movie, which is slated as of right now to come out this December. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited for this 4th phase of the MCU. And somebody helpfully pointed out that Paul Bettany has been at the start of every single MCU phase to date, which is awesome. So tell me what you guys thought down below. Also, would you guys like me to continue these recaps for WandaVision to see if I can do recaps for the Marvel shows as well as the Star Wars shows that are coming out? So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this. If you guys haven't yet, be sure to check out Disney Plus. You can sign up for a month at a time so you don't have to make a really in-depth commitment. Make sure to check out WandaVision. And just so you know, pretty much every single Marvel movie and show is up on the site. Also, Star Wars. And if you don't like either of those, don't worry. You can see classic Disney films, new Disney movies, and TV shows made just for Disney Plus. Things like The Simpsons, Family Guy, and other content for Fox, History Channel, and National Geographic. So make sure you guys are checking out Disney Plus and checking out, of course, WandaVision. Leave a comment down below to tell me what you guys thought. Give me a thumbs up if you like this video. And if you want me to continue what I'm doing, make sure to click subscribe. Thank you so much for watching. I'm sending you all lots of love, hugs, and prayers, and I will talk to you guys later. Bye, everybody. Try to get the WandaVision theme song out of your head. See you later.